Hi everybody. Today we're going to talk about how to make sure that your son or daughter does not let their math skills decay over the summer. This is very important. If they shut their brain off for the next 2 months, they're not going to show up in September ready to go. As you probably know, math is a very perishable skill. And if you don't keep that skill up and nurture and cultivate that skill over the very important summer, it could be not so great when you start back up in school. It could take you a couple months to get back up to speed. So in this episode, we're going to talk about how to make sure that that doesn't happen. Hi everyone, I'm Phil Black. I run an online mentoring program called PrepWell Academy, where I help rising freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors make smart decisions about high school, about college, and about life. I'm a former Navy SEAL, Goldman Sachs investment banker, went to Yale, went to Harvard Business School, was an entrepreneur, been on Shark Tank, and I am a firefighter right now. In fact, I'm in my firefighter engine right now. So if you happen to hear beep, 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 and all of a sudden this live goes to end, it's probably because we've gotten a response and we're heading out to do our jobs. But I hope I can get 5 minutes in here just to give you this little tip to help your son or daughter. So here's what's happening. I would like, and all my PrepWellers around the country, their job this summer is to make sure that they have mastered all of the concepts in the grade from which they just graduated. So for instance, I have a lot of rising freshmen, which means their job this summer is to make sure that they have mastered all the math concepts through 8th grade. So they start 9th grade with no gaps in their learning. Because here's what happens. Even if your son or daughter has done pretty well in math, they've gotten A's, they've done even an accelerated math, well, even if they get an A, they may have gotten a 95. Well, guess what? That means there's a 5% gap in their learning. Maybe they weren't really that great on multiplying fractions or differential equations or dividing fractions, whatever it might be. They kind of muscled through it, but push came to shove. There was a little bit that they didn't quite get. That's not good. I don't want my PrepWellers with any gaps, because there are so many people these days who are looking at science, technology, engineering, math, computers. That requires a lot of math skill. And if you allow that 5% gap, you bring that to sophomore year, then there's a 7% gap, you bring that to 11th grade, and all of a sudden you hit differential equations and calculus, and you hit a wall. You hit a ceiling in your math knowledge. That's not where we want to go, and that's not where PrepWellers go. We want to make sure that they have 0 gaps in learning as they move on to the next grade. Now, how do you do that, you might ask? Well, there's a very elegant solution. It's called Kahn Academy. I hope you've heard of it. All of my PrepWellers have accounts. I make sure of that. And it is spelled K-H-A-N academy.org. Made by a brilliant guy who is it's a world-class online tutoring for a lot of different topics, but they are particularly good in math. And what you can do if you're a rising freshman, hey Wayne, how you doing? Good to see you. If you're a rising freshman, your job is to go into Kahn Academy and sign up and make sure that over the course of the summer, you finish every single module for 8th grade, so that when you show up in 9th grade, there's no gaps. You know it all, theoretically. And Kahn Academy is so great because it doesn't allow you to move to the next module until you prove to them that you understand it fully through quiz and quiz and quiz and quiz and test. And then you get through that module and you move to the next module and the next module and the next module. So you and your son or daughter can feel confident that by the end of their 9th grade that they are good to go. So that's a huge confidence boost, number one, moving into September, instead of letting that perishable skill, that math skill, decay over time. Then all of a sudden, the teachers will have this baked in already. They spend the first 2, sometimes 3 months going back over what they learned, what they were supposed to have learned the year before. We want your student to be way ahead of the game. Now, mind you, if you have a really smart student in math, I don't mind if they go ahead a little bit. I just want to make sure that they have completely 100% mastered, no gaps, of the year from which they just graduated. And Kahn Academy is the best way to do it. So I hope this little tidbit is helpful. We talk a lot about goal setting and goal planning, and I work with my PrepWellers all around the country to do that. One simple goal is to get on Kahn Academy, create an account, and make sure they are moving through completion. And my 2 sons, I have 2 9th graders, rising 9th graders, and every once in a while I'll ask them, how's Kahn Academy going? And they'll say 68%, 75%. That means that's the percentage of mastery that they've mastered, and they're creeping up so that their goal by the end of the summer, and any rising freshman's goal by the end of the summer, is to have 100% mastery. It's very objective too. Kahn Academy has all those concepts down to the very last tidbit, and it's all been approved. It's all approved for what the schools are teaching. So rest assured that this is not just any type of math concepts. This is approved math concepts that people are using all around the country, and it's a great way to ensure the parent and the child that they are not letting those math skills decay. I hope this is helpful. In fact, if you want some goal planning help, go to PrepWellAcademy.com/P/goals. That's PrepWellAcademy.com/P/goals. And you will get a custom worksheet, a custom goal setting template that you can use with your son or daughter. Now, if you're a PrepWeller, of course, you've gotten that already. And most of the PrepWellers, I've tried to get done with my session with them by the end of June, because I go through with them personally what their goal list is like. And we use this goal setting worksheet. Hi, Linda. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. I go through this worksheet with them in person, but you can do this at home. If you're not yet enrolled in PrepWell, or your son or daughter is a little bit younger, go to PrepWellAcademy.com/P/goals. Let me know what your son or daughter, what grade they're in, and I will send you that custom goal setting worksheet. You print it out, you sit down with your son or daughter and say, hey, we've still got some significant time left in the summer. Let's make sure we don't let those math skills go to waste. Even if you just have one goal, one academic goal, let it be mastering math. Of course, we want them to read, we want them to do other things to enrich them and let them flourish. I get all that. But if there's one summer goal, is to make sure that they've guaranteed no gaps in their math learning from the grade they just finished. If you're enjoying this and you think this is helpful information, please share it with friends. You can do that by pressing I think it's the button in the little right. I'm not 100% up to speed on this, but I think there's a button that allows you to share it with people. Or, even better, you can tag people that you think this message might be helpful to them by putting their name in the comments. If you are not watching this live, you can feel free to put comments anyway, because I'll check out the comments after the fact, after this has been published down the road. And I'm glad I finished. As I said, I'm here on the fire engine, tempting a call here, but somehow we got through it. I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you again tomorrow.